Good evening. Today's topic is the youth and the news, and the common perception that everybody knows that young people don't engage in the news anymore. This perception is an irrational moral panic. By simply looking at how news is consumed and produced in contemporary society, can easily be seen that the youth of today do engage in the news. They may not be engaging in traditional forms of news, such as the 6 o'clock news or the daily paper, but they are engaging and utilising more active forms of news. The news today comes in a variety of sources, some of which include web-based news, entertainment shows, blogging, documentaries, and even YouTube. Dr. Stephen Harrington, in his Week 6 KCB 102 lecture, suggested that there is no consensus of what the news is, but does suggest that it is ultimately a thing that provides us with information we require to make informed choices about the direction of public life. This definition is not limited to only traditional news, but allows for a much broader definition. New news, such as blogging and news through entertainment, can be seen as sources of news, which provide us with knowledge about society. It is these forms of news the younger audience are engaged in. For example, let's examine entertainment shows. Harrington suggests in his article that shows like The Panel and The Chaser are shows which young people do actively engage in the news through. The youth appreciate the ability these shows have to discuss complex issues. The shows critically analyse the news, they satirise it, and they make it entertaining. This idea is also discussed by American academic Jonathan Gray. Gray uses the US TV show Countdown with Keith Olbermann as an example of a new form of news which is both entertaining and valid to which the youth do engage in. Although this is not a traditional way to engage in the news, it is valid engagement. This new mode of consumption clearly demonstrates a younger audience engaging in the news. This can also be seen by looking at new forms of news production. The news is a constantly evolving medium, and in modern contemporary world, the news is not only consumed differently, but it also produced differently. Technological developments such as Web 2.0 has allowed for traditional ideas of production to be blurred with that of consumption. Web 2.0, as Harrington suggests in his Week 8 lecture, is the read-write web. It allows young people to produce their own content. Citizen journalism has developed out of this technology. Everyone is and can be a journalist. Blogging is a form of Web 2.0 and a pothole for young citizen journalists. YouthNoise.com is a blog site and allows the younger audience to engage in the news actively. It is a perfect example of how the youth of today engage in the news in new ways. Youth Noise has blogs on almost everything. You can read about the cause and effects of having a girlfriend at high school to the recent swine pandemic. There are video blogs, debating corners, social polls, and forums. YouthNoise.com is encouraging young people to produce their own content. Consequently, the younger audience may not be engaging in traditional forms of consumption or production of news, but they are, naturally, as every generation does, evolving and developing, using new forms, modes, and technologies to engage in the news.